There are plenty of different takes on if there's one God, many gods, or no God at all. Nothing is left incomplete in the eyes of us simple human beings. How could one being create in such fine detail the world? If there is a God, who created him, if something did, or did he just appear out of thin air, or has he always existed? Controversially, many lack a concrete idea of God, especially those lacking faith. However, many instances in history point toward the existence of God. The main idea in this presentation will consider some of the prophecies in the Bible that cover this concept. Many instances in the Bible denote that there is a God. Matthew 5:3, which reads, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." This is a very popular verse that most of us find familiar. It is a direct way of saying that there's an afterlife called heaven, and those poor in spirit may find rest. Revelations 4:11 says, "Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power, for thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created." This verse is furthermore supporting the fact that there is a God, and he is the one who has created us and everything we know. This God is powerful and should be acknowledged by those he created. Romans 1:20 says, "For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his internal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse." This verse is saying how we humans cannot see God, but we see him through his creations and miracles. It is telling how everything in existence had to have a beginning, and that beginning was at God's hands. Psalms 19:1 says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament sheweth his handiwork." Everything we see on a day-to-day basis was created by proxy. God made people who made every simpler item, such as phones, houses, etc. Psalms 97:6 says, "The heavens declare his righteousness, and all the people see his glory." Going back on what was previously stated, we see God's creations every day, whether that be in a mirror, out on the street, or displayed on a screen. It's only right for his creations to look up to him and show him the utmost respect. After all, he did create us. The beginning of the Bible in Genesis talks a good amount about how God created the earth. A good example of this is Genesis 1:1-5. "In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the water. And God said, Let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, and that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day." Genesis 1:26, 27, and 31 says, "And God said, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have domination over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and all over the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image, in the image of God him. Male and female he created them. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day." 2 Peter 3:8 says, "But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is as one day." By this, if God took 7 of his days to make earth, it took 7,000 earth years to complete. God takes his time, careful planning into mankind, such as when he brought Jesus to earth. The reason why God waited so long was that mankind had to develop society and spirituality enough to understand and accept revelation of Jesus Christ. The idea behind progressive revelation is that God has gradually revealed himself and revealed his plan and purpose over time. So, with all this information, we see that Christians differ primarily in that Christians believe in God and the Trinity, whereas atheists believe God is a myth. Atheists are strongly opposed to believe in supernatural or higher beings, whereas Christians believe in God's presence in their lives. Atheist philosophers have attempted to disprove the existence of God for centuries, but no convincing argument has ever been presented. As a result, atheists are strongly opposed to the idea of God's existence in the first place. Although some people say that atheists worship science, you have to realize that science is a set of laws, not magical supernatural entities. In addition, science is continuously evolving and changing, in contrast to the Christian God, who remains the same. In conclusion, the Bible states many instances where the presence of God is vivid or his hand in creation is shown. Some may never acknowledge the presence of God, but as followers of him, it is our goal to point in his direction.